This episode is brought to you by Victory. Tastes sweet. Yeah! Cool. Good stuff. Hi, I'm Gramps.
Hi, I'm Chili Ben.
And here on Casual Compliance, we like to win. Win, win, win. That's all we do. And, for those who have been watching our channel since day one might notice that Gifts Ungiven, Sway of the Stars, Braids, Cabal, Minion, Coalition, Victory, and Panoptic Mirror, all those videos came out in a really, really interesting order. That, Gavin Verhey, our biggest fan, this one's to you, Gavin.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Hey, look, if you go by the announcement, baby, we win!
I don't know about this we business.
I win!
Yeah, that's more like it.
Here on Casual Compliance, we talk about the Commander ban list. We talk about the cards on the ban list. We talk about why we think they could be unbanned. And then we go through our research phase. We discuss them as unbans. And we then come to the end and say, can this card be unbanned? Can it not? And now with the game changer list, we think, could the card be a game changer instead? And it's happened. 5 cards are now game changers.
I mean, also look, the channel's only been going a year.
Yep.
So it's a first for us, but that's not really saying much. Cards coming off the Commander ban list. I haven't ever seen that happen.
I have, but I'm old.
Yeah.
and we're going to talk about these. We're not going to go through the entire announcement. We're not going to go through what's new on the game changes. We're not going to go through the new justifications for bans. Go and read Gavin's article from the 22nd of April.
Both articles.
Both articles,
should say.
if you'd like.
Yeah.
But this is being recorded 5 days after the unbans, and this will be released 10 days after the unbans. We don't know what's happened since.
Yeah, time is tough.
Time is tough. I did the math just before we pressed record.
Nice.
Actually, you might be able to see me on that camera doing the math. But yeah, cards are unbanned.
Yeah.
Did you ever think we'd get there?
I mean, we knew they might be coming. So
Yeah.
I think when brackets, was it in the initial announcement or
They said that they were looking at
the next time after, basically they said at some point, what they said was in April, we will make an update to the bracket system plus any potential unbans.
Yeah.
And then somewhere in that window of time, they said anything coming off the ban list will go straight onto the game changers list.
Yep.
Which I think is a good move because it's like, hey, this card used to be banned. We're putting it in the group of cards that we've said we're keeping an eye on them.
Yeah.
And I think that makes sense because you want to give them a chance and then see if it completely fucks the format.
Yeah.
And then, okay, maybe we take them off again.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and going straight into it, I guess, when it comes to unbanning cards, they've given us their kind of selection criteria. It's not everything clearly, but the bulk that they wanted us to share is unbans should meet some or all of the criteria of that they're fond memories. They're not just unbanning the card because people want to play it. It's a fond memory. They contribute to positive play patterns, enjoyable decks, or splashy moments. And they don't create runaway games or negative play patterns.
Okay.
Which...
Interesting.
My friend over here fully disagrees with some of these unbans.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
You can go back to our episodes and watch because some of these cards are gross.
Yeah. And full transparency, we did not go and watch our old episodes in preparation for this.
I don't enjoy our videos.
Most of what we do on the show, and today included, is off the top of the head.
Oh, fully.
We're just reacting in the moment.
Yep.
Sometimes contradicting ourselves.
And even with conspiracy, we did not do any prep other than doing the draft and then getting in and doing I'm going to look up 5 cards from the draft that we just did. I now have 3 Hymn of the Wilds, by the way.
What?
From Mystery Booster 2.
What is it doing in there?
Can't have lands, I think it is.
Well, yeah, but why are they putting a conspiracy in Mystery Booster?
No fucking idea. It's crazy. I don't want you to reinstall the latest Windows update. Leave me alone. Anyway, never thought I'd get here. Thank you to that one fan who messaged us on TikTok. Sorry I haven't gotten back to you because I forget. I've got bad memory. But yeah, you're right. We did it.
Yeah.
Me and the fans.
Yeah. Yeah.
So going back, Gifts Ungiven. 3 in a blue for a very fun instant. Search your library up to 4 cards with different names, reveal them. Target opponent chooses 2 of those cards, put the chosen cards into your graveyard and the rest into your hand, then shuffle.
Yeah.
What's amazing about that is because you're naming cards, you can name a card that's not in your deck.
Yep.
And then it just goes into the graveyard, and then that's graveyard recursion. It's easy. Sway of the Stars, 8 blue for a sorcery. Each player shuffles his or her hand, graveyard, and permanents he or she owns into his or her library. Then draws 7 cards. Each player's life total becomes 7. I saw an amazing response to this, which is this card doesn't count for me because I am they them. So, Braids, Cabal, Minion, the easiest unban in the world. 2 black for a legendary creature. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player sacrifices a land. Sacrifices an artifact, creature, or land. It's a 2/2. Chef's kiss. I have a war against Braids Arisen Nightmare, and Cabal Minion is part of that war.
Okay. Interesting
actually,
take.
It's actually detrimental for me to unban Braids Cabal Minion because I want Braids Arisen Nightmare banned.
Right, yeah. Yeah, whereas there's definitely a strong line of Braids Arisen Nightmare is the fix for Cabal Minion.
And it's worse.
Because it's all optional.
I think it's categorically worse. Anyway, Coalition victory. Chili bought breakfast this morning, and I gave him money back by saying coalition victory.
I feel some kind of way about this one.
3, Wooburg. You win the game, baby, as long as you control a land of each basic land type and a creature of each color. And then finally, everyone's favorite card. No one's ever said anything bad about Panoptic Mirror.
That can't be true.
Artifact. It's 5-cost artifact, imprint X, tap. You may remove an instant or sorcery card with converted mana cost X in your hand from the game. It's imprinted onto the artifact. Beginning of your upkeep, you can copy it and play the copy without paying its mana cost.
Yep.
Beauty, except it has been that slight errata. Let me get that version up as well.
Oh, it's you can only do it with cards exiled to that Panoptic Mirror.
Yeah, not any imprinted card.
So if you had, for example, multiple Panoptic Mirrors, they would each have their own card pool.
Yes. Or multiple ley lines. No, not ley lines. Multiple different cards doing imprint.
They can't interact with each other, but it's pretty easy to run.
I prefer the open way, honestly, in my opinion.
No.
So let's talk about these 5 cards.
Yeah. Okay.
Very briefly, if you want a full discussion about it, go watch our old videos.
We honestly super lucked out in that all 5 of these cards we have videos on.
Yes, luck.
It's so funny to me. I saw that list. I was like, "You've got to be kidding me!"
I wasn't even the one that pointed out it was in our order either.
Yeah,
someone pointed it out to me.
Yeah,
it's like, this isn't the order of your videos.
Yeah, this is casual compliance release order. What are we doing?
Anyway,
what are we doing here?
What we're going to talk about these cards. We're not going to go back over the combos. We're not going to go back over the play patterns. We're going to talk about the fact that they're unbanned, and they were banned at one point,
and what it means now. Because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but all 5 of those, when we did the episodes, brackets weren't a thing. We had no idea about game changes. Yep. We didn't have the current structure they are being unbanned into. Now, of course, not everybody is interacting with brackets. Some people are opting out of it still. So for those people, these are just legal. These are just legal in all games.
Exactly. And look, the numbers game for it in this announcement, actually in the game changes announcement, Wizards have noted that about 54% of people that are using LFG things for matching gameplays are using brackets. So a bit more than half, and there is quite a decent uptake. So, and if you're not using brackets, that's fine. These cards are legal for you, and you should still be having pre-game conversations if you can. And if you're not having them, that might just be your play group. That's fine. Each to their own. We're not going to yuck. I've just done the fucking thing where I go to 3 cameras. We're not going to yuck.
Don't do that one. That's my one.
We're not going to yuck a yum. We are here to make sure that everyone is having the experience they want to have, and it matches everyone else's experience. We're not going to force you to use brackets as much as I'm really not interested in playing with anyone that isn't using brackets. So we've done 1 recording actual since brackets came out, because we did the emergency video, which is the day of the brackets release.
Yes.
And then we've done 1 recording since.
Yeah.
So
and also,
been up 2 months.
I think this is also our first recording since our channel turned 1 year old.
Yeah, that too.
So happy birthday to us.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you, Wizards of the Coast, for bringing out this on our birthday. We really appreciate it. And looking forward to business again in the future.
Yeah,
because you've given us content.
These are gifts given.
These are gifts given, and they sway with the stars.
Good.
But so this really works well as actually a good advertisement for brackets as well, because they're game changers. They're going on the game changer list. None of these things specifically do the stuff that aren't. All of these could be played in bracket 3, basically.
Yeah, where you've got the guideline is up to 3.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, exactly, up to 3. none of these are mass land denial.
No. Well, Braids.
Braids is not mass land denial. It's single land denial.
Yeah. But it's potential. We'll get to Braids later. Yeah.
And none of these are. And Panoptic Mirror is the only one that's potential for a 2-card combo infinite turn because you're doing a time wipe.
Yeah.
But they actually mention that in the reason for the unbanning. I don't think we need to go fully into the unbanned reasons for everything. You can read those in the article. They're there. It's more just talking about where to from here.
Yeah.
Let's look at Gifts Ungiven for a bit, which is I love Gifts Ungiven. I bought the Jace's Mystical Spellbook thing that came with 6 cards and a booster pack with one of those cards in foil.
Yeah, the precursor to the Commander collections, right?
Yeah.
Because everyone's like, they only did black and green. It's like, yeah, because the signature spellbooks already exist.
Exactly. Gideon had one.
Chandra
had one. Yeah. And Jace has one.
Yeah.
I got the Jace one, came with a counter spell, came with a Gifts Ungiven.
That's crazy.
And I was well, I can't do anything with this.
Yeah.
Now, this goes easily into my Indominus Rex Alpha deck.
Yeah, that's a pretty good place. Do you have any 2-card combos in that deck?
I don't have any 2-card combos, and that's why that's going to go in there. That's the thing. And that's what they say here, and this is what I do want to point out from the article, is if your deck is trying to infinite combo people with this, that will help you sort out if you're playing in the right environment.
Yeah.
Like, if we sit down at the table and I say, cool, this is my Indominus Rex deck, here are the three game changers, Emrakul, Demonic Tutor, and Gifts Ungiven.
Sure.
And then that should tell you enough to say, well, none of those go infinite. Do you have any ways to make them
the
go
thing
infinite?
is, like, I don't think every possible 2-card combo has their cards show up on the game changer list.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
No, they don't. And that's where you ask.
Yes.
Like, this doesn't sound infinite for now.
Yeah.
And I would say, I've got these, and the question would be...
Because I think the power gamer way to run Gifts Ungiven is the 4 cards you put up are 2 separate 2-card combos.
Yeah.
And it's like, which one do you want to get hit with?
Or even just in Sultai,
Put it in
2
the
cards
graveyard.
and then 2 white cards that aren't even in your deck.
Yeah.
And those cards are going in the graveyard, and you have Entomb and Reanimate and the
Yeah.
rest. So,
Yeah.
look, it's a big win for, I think, the high level, bracket 4 players. And
It costs how much to cast?
4.
4, yeah.
I don't even know. CEDH players, please tell me, is Gifts Ungiven a good card? I imagine it really could be, especially in Thoracle combos. Because it helps you get the consultation and the Thoracle early.
Yeah.
So and then if you've got a Liars down, you can cast the
Get it out of the
Demonic from
graveyard. Yeah.
You can bring Thassa's back with Entomb because it,
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if we see it show up there.
Yeah. Please tell me. Please tell me in the comments. This is going to be a short. So
we don't play CDH.
we don't know. We haven't spoken to a CDH player yet, so we'll get there.
But I think tutoring at least 2 cards is pretty good.
Very good. But and then we mentioned it in the video. Intuition is the 3 cost for tutor for 2. So similar things.
Yeah.
So, but that is one of the things where this is a good advertisement for brackets. If we're talking brackets and people say, I want to play bracket 3, I could still play Gifts Ungiven in bracket 3. I think it has a place in there.
Yeah.
But if you're doing the infinite combos, then it's bracket 4. Then it's
CEDH
bracket.
Yeah. Or if you're running more than 3 game changers and Gifts Ungiven is how you're going to go find them, great, you're in at least bracket 4 then.
I'm going to go back to our Sway of Stars video for this next part.
Okay.
Sway of Stars is just blue Wildfire. Wildfire was unbanned ages ago. Sway of Stars is worse Wildfire.
Costs you 10?
Costs you 10.
Yeah.
Each life becomes 7.
Yeah.
But you have shuffled your hand, graveyard, and permanents into your library and then drawing 7 cards. It's a game reset, but everyone goes to 7.
Yeah.
And there's, in full honesty, because it's just shuffling all the stuff that you have into your library, there's no way, except for phasing out, to stop that from happening.
True.
So you could cast Sway of the Stars and then out
well,
of
the thing
time,
is,
yourself?
You never phase out your library or your graveyard.
Yeah.
So that part still happens.
Yes, the graveyard does, but the permanents on the battlefield is the hard part. You'd have to phase out that to fairies and all those. So, and Wildfire is the same, honestly. Boros Wildfire, great. Sway of the Stars, Azorius Wildfire, Sway of the Stars.
I need to remind myself Wildfire real quick.
I believe it's...
exile all permanents.
Yep.
Exile all cards from all hands and graveyards. Each player's life total becomes 1.
Yep.
I think, and I would not be surprised if I said this in the Sway of the Stars video, that's over a lot quicker.
Yeah.
This is, so a thing that I did once in a game you were in was run Mycosynth Lattice
and Larry Nevins,
and then blow up a Larry Nevins disc.
Yeah.
So everything becomes an artifact, and then all artifacts are destroyed. That includes lands. It was like the entire board is wiped.
Yep.
And there's no hand refill there.
I had a Phyto Titan down, so that came back onto the battlefield, and I was the only one that had anything on the board.
Basically, I look at this as like you do a Worldfire. It's like cool, life total 1. Probably the game's over pretty quickly.
And then like a Braided Bluffs, 1 damaged land.
Yeah, what I did with the Mycosynth Larry Nevins disc, like that took fucking ages to find an end to that game. Sway of the Stars is in the middle of that, and I don't think it's fun.
Well, I think, and what I think is really interesting about this, I do like, but I also don't like it as a reason for unbanning as well. Our guess is this will see little play, but the people who enjoy cards like these will now be able to play another one.
Yeah.
So it does fit the bill for people like me who love playing stacks. Because it's just another stacks piece.
I think if you were saying like I'm running like Aloro stacks, which it would be, and like I know that that's going to be a pretty brutal time to begin with. So like a Sway of the Stars, fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
and that's where these cards go.
And like that's what, bracket 4 that deck?
The Allura Stacks is technically bracket. That's bracket 4.
Yeah.
Sure. It's got like 6 game changes and 4 two card infinite combos.
So I think if you're operating in brackets 4 and 5, like I don't mind it showing up there as much.
Yeah.
It's the fact that like you can have it down in lower brackets.
I just don't.
It's just
think
bracket 3, right?
Lower brackets is going to play this. Like I don't think anyone in bracket 3 is going to play Sway of the Stars.
Yeah. My hope is that the type of people that engage with brackets have a good enough head on their shoulders that they know better than to drop this in a bracket 3 game.
And I guess, for again, we are brackets players.
Yeah. I just think like it's such an unsatisfying way to finish a game.
100%.
Because then you're just all sitting there with 7 cards and 7 life. It's like, okay, who gets a land first?
Yeah, exactly.
And depending on how the game's gone before that, you might not have a lot of lands left in your library to pull out because like it's 10 mana, so on curve.
Yeah.
You're like turn 9, 10.
Yeah.
By then, you probably ramped a bunch of stuff out.
And I guess the point with this as well is, right, is you want to be playing a game where you are finishing the game with this card. You're not stalling out a game. It's not like Overloaded Cyclonic Rift and Farewell are the ones that everyone looks like, where it's like
it's just any board wipe where you don't have a follow up that gets you close to winning the game or winning the game. Like that's like I have done that in my earlier experience playing Magic, and I've come to learn that's a shit time. Yeah, because it's like now you've just put everybody on the back foot and no one's doing anything because no one was prepared for that.
Late game board wipes versus early game board wipes. Early game board wipes are fine because you're not someone is in a winning position and you've stalled the game out. It's a turn 3 or 4 damnation for someone who's really far ahead is very different to everyone's got their board set up. Someone's going to win soon. Damnation, reset the state.
Yeah, it's like all the
going to try playing catch up again.
It's like creatures are gone and everybody's trying to rebuild.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
that has its place, but I think like doing this.
Speaking of rebuilding,
I don't love it.
Speaking of rebuilding, Braids, Cabal Minion. Just, and they say it here.
Yeah.
The most frustrating games are the ones where it's put out extremely quickly and people are locked under it. I saw a TikTok where someone was like, well, now this is legal. And then they
like a turn 1 Braids.
Swamp.
Yeah.
Dark Ritual.
Yeah.
Soul Ring with 1 of the black mana, then 2 and 2 black from the rest of the black mana, Braids out, turn 1 sick, and then they have the artifact they can sacrifice first before the land, and they can keep ahead and stuff like that. Like, if you're going to play that type of game after having a pre-game discussion, and if in the pre-game discussion you say, well, look, I can have Braids down turn 1. Cool. That is a boring experience. It's a tough experience for people to play in.
Yeah.
It does rely specifically on having 2 out of 99 cards in your hand. You could just mulligan until you get that.
Yeah. Or you've got a hand where you've got like a tutor, so you can go and find it. Yeah.
Well, look, we usually house rule our mulligans to be pretty gentle. It's like, just have something too playable, but...
We'll talk about this maybe another time, but I'm starting to not do that.
Me too. I'm starting to not... Now that we're playing with higher power players, and we're getting a lot better at it now as well. And we're getting better at deck building. All of us kind of in our group are moving beyond the free mulligan space.
Well, because we're
still doing the first one free.
My thesis is essentially having to mulligan more than once is feedback about your deck.
Yeah.
You need to respond to that and like pay attention over time of like, am I needing to mulligan 5 times?
Yeah.
Great, you'd be down to 2 or 3 cards in hand. You should probably think about what that means about how many lands you're running or whatever it is. Right?
I run 40 lands now.
Yeah.
But and that being said as well, and it goes back to once again my argument, which is single cost removal is so prevalent now. Generous gift, Source of Plowshares, Path of Exile, Unsummon, all that kind of stuff is so prevalent now that if someone gets it out turn 1 and you can, it's at the beginning of your upkeep, so you still have your first go around where playing swords first turn. They're not getting that Braids out again for a while. Like, they might, whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the comment where they give me the combo where you can get her out turn 2 after being removed turn 1. I get it. I'm a pleb. But like, again, this is about having the pre-game conversations, so much target removal, so much, and so much about identifying commanders you don't want to play against.
Yeah.
Someone sits down and says, this is my shoulder deck. I'm like, do
No
I
thanks.
have something I want to play against this?
Yeah.
Or no, thank you. The only deck I ever play against shoulder deck is Aloro because I get the 2 life
You get the
upkeep,
life
so I
back.
get to draw anyway.
I think, like, if someone sat down with Braids, Cabal, Minion as their commander, I'm going to ask some pretty specific questions, but I'm going to be defaulting to no thank you, actually.
Yeah. Look, I play against it as much as I play against a Risen Nightmare, which I will play against, but I go high.
You think about, like, assume they get it down, like, in the first few turns. Like, if you're not able to be, like, +1 land per turn, or, like, you basically need to generate more resources than they're forcing you to get rid of, otherwise you'll never get anywhere. So, like, like, removal is cheap. Yeah. But if you don't have the lands to be able to pay for it in the first place, like, that's not good.
And that's the hard part.
Yeah.
It's like you are on the back foot. You do get a free go around still because it's in your upkeep, especially if this is our turn 1.
Yeah.
But if this is, if that person isn't the starting player, they're like they're 4th and they get out turn 1, you are then on the back foot there.
Yeah.
I've gone off the assumption that the person going first already has Braids out before anybody else has anything on the board. So
yeah, I think, like, if we're talking about it getting out early, no matter how that happens,
it's rough.
It's a rough time because, like, you think about most. I would probably guess that, like, majority of your first couple of turns in Commander is land pass.
Yeah.
Like, with small exceptions here and there, but, like, a lot of it is just I've got, like, a 2 or 3 cost. I'm not quite ready. I'll just play 1 land, especially if you're running, like, 3 color plus decks. Yeah. Even 2 color decks have this a bit where, like, you don't quite have the right colors for what's in your hand or your commander, so you're just kind of waiting. This is like, okay, so we're going to be, like, digging for answers from the beginning of the game, like, knowing that that's going to come into the field at any point. Yeah. Like, I don't mind this coming off, and the fact is it's coming off to be a game changer that could be your commander. There's not many of those. So I think that is good. The one that it worries me more is if it's in the 99, because then it's not necessarily disclosed ahead of time.
Yes.
And it might just come out and you're like, oh, we're playing like that.
Yes. And we'll get there in a little bit at the end of the cards, but like that is a big thing. Is a lot of these, could be in 99, not as commander, so they're more hidden.
Yeah.
Not one we're going to talk about for a long time. Coalition Victory, easiest unban in the world.
Get fucked. No.
And you're very fair. Look, this does... sorry, one last thing on Braids. I actually think Braids would be interesting in the meta of CDH. I am very curious to see what happens in CDH with Braids. It's the first time I've been interested. No, look, I'm never going to play CDH, but I wonder if it's going to be paradigm shifting.
I could see it for sure. Like, black is quite strong generally. Yeah. And the ability for this to just, like, stop everybody else doing shit in the first place, pretty good. Like, to be fair, some people have made some weird CDH decks. Yep. Like, I watched one yesterday where someone was playing Vahan, Goldwaker.
Sick.
It was great. And I was like, oh, a bunch of these cards are in my Vahan deck.
So you're a CDH player?
No, I'm not.
Apparently.
I also have a Tivit deck, but it's not that type of Tivit deck.
So, Coalition Victory.
Yeah.
The big thing really is, like we've said in the video, it's a win out of nowhere.
Yes.
It's an expensive, conditional win out of nowhere. And what looks like for what they say here, which is at the end, for those engaging with brackets, it's within the time frame of where we expect an I win combo to fall. and they call it Rocket.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
Like approach of the second son and stuff. And we go back to what I spoke about in the last video we did, which was dual loaders. Early game, aggro, mid-range, and then late game kind of like stally stacks kind of stuff.
Or just big creatures.
Yeah. And it looks like they're very focusing on mid-range kind of stuff here. And Coalition Victory they think is mid-range, which is, yes, they think it's very interactable. Single removal spell, gets rid of it, and it doesn't come back unless they have Elias.
Gets rid of their commander.
Gets rid of the Coalition Victory.
What's a spell? Like, what removal are you talking about?
Isn't like counter spells?
I think what they're talking about with regards to removal is like get rid of their commander or the creature that's satisfying the condition, or get rid of the land that's satisfying one of the conditions for Coalition.
A bit of both, really. Or Narset's Reversal, the Coalition Victory. you won't have the thing.
Yeah.
But like goes back to your hand. You just stole out the game, really. Like, yeah, it's very, and this is my argument. I remember this one because this was actually one of our best performing videos.
Okay.
Is the argument was counter spells exist. Single target removal exists.
Yeah.
There are ways for us to get rid of Coalition Victory or its win condition super easily, and there's so many more of them that are being printed all the time. Like Swords to Plowshares was reprinted like 8 times,
True.
Counter spells there. Get a Jace's signature spellbook.
Can you still get them?
Mine games. But yeah, these things are counterable, but this is an interesting one because
it's the like winning out of nowhere that does it for me. Like it relies on you having that instant speed answer at the moment this is cast, which is such a much more narrow window than every other you win the game card. And a thing I remember from our episode in Coalition was there is only one non-permanent card that says you win the game, and it's Approach of the Second Son, which you cast it once, and then it goes into your library 7th from the top.
Yep.
And so at that point, it's coming, even though it's not on the battlefield. They've signaled that this is likely to happen.
Yep.
And sure, they might have a way to draw a bunch of cards immediately and do it again.
Yeah.
But the fact is, you have a wider window in which it's coming.
Then hey, I win.
Yeah, and all the other ones are, generally speaking, permanents that sit on the battlefield and have to wait for it to come back to your turn before it can happen. A lot of them are upkeep triggers, that sort of thing.
And this, we all know Panoptic Mirror. Panoptic Mirror is fine. Panoptic Mirror.
We'll talk about it. We'll still talk about
but
it.
I think this is actually a good chance to talking about the cards that are in your deck and talking about the game changes.
Yeah, I think my point with Coalition Victory is more that I still hold that it is an unsatisfying way to end a game, or dissatisfying, whatever the word is.
It'd be boring to win that way, and it would suck to lose that way.
Yeah. Think about like the episode where we had Ruby on the show.
Yeah.
Like the thing she said was,
I feel like sometimes in Commander, you're choosing what you would rather lose to.
I would never like to lose this way because it's like, well, you've just spent 8 mana to negate the entire game we've just had.
Exactly.
Like it feels like a meaningless victory.
Yeah, very much. It's and everyone in Australia knows that any Coalition victory is a meaningless victory. It's an election year, and that, I guess that's the thing as well, is like you're seeing the board state being built is the thing I have. Like if I know, and this is important, if I know you have Coalition victory in your deck, I'm going to be looking at your board at all times and thinking, cool, does he have Wibberg? Cool, does he have a creature of every color down?
Yep.
How can I affect that? It is going to, if I know you have Coalition victory in your deck, I'm going to target your board to make sure you can't get that win. Or I'm keeping a counter spell in hand, or multiple counter spells in hand just in case. So I am going to be accounting for it. And the something you mentioned earlier, which is people might start assuming you're running Wibberg. I've got a Wibberg Slivers deck. I'm not going to be running Coalition victory in that.
Yeah.
But people might assume I have Coalition victory in there because it's Wibberg.
Yeah.
And then I become the target. I'm a target anyway with Slivers.
Yeah, but I think
you become more of the target.
I think my point when we were talking earlier around that is, I think it would possibly happen more with people who don't engage with brackets, and time will tell because this only just happened. if someone's running a WooBerg deck and they're not having a well-formed pre-game discussion and everybody just assumes they've got Coalition Victory, it's not necessarily that they're going to be the target. It's that they will be turbo removed from the game.
Yeah.
Like 3 people bullying them just on the assumption
that there's a CB
that's in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's a potential negative play pattern this introduces.
And I guess this is, once again, where we're talking about talk before your games.
Yes.
Talk to each other.
Yeah.
You have friends that you play Magic with, or strangers who are now friends that you play Magic with. Talk to them.
Yeah.
Last one, Panoptic Mirror.
Yeah.
Best card ever printed. Has an errata that makes it less fun, but that's fine. Easiest to unban on the list, genuinely.
I would agree with that.
First, the first concern was always imprinting a extra turn spell.
Yeah.
And then the game's over immediately.
Yeah.
Or imprinting an end turn spell.
Time stop.
And then
it's like, how about none turns? I think was something I saw on Blue Sky during this week. It's like, hey, on my upkeep, I'm casting time stop, and then it's just not my turn anymore. I don't want to play Magic, actually.
I'm done playing Magic. No, yeah. But
the funniest one I saw was Panoptic Mirror plus Teferi's Protection. Just like on your upkeep, your T-Pro.
Phase me out.
And like, I'm just not going to play.
Until my next turn.
And then it's like, I'm going to go to the shops. You guys need anything?
Hey, I'm going to go get a beverage.
These are all just
Panoptic
like...
T-Fur. On my next upkeep, Panoptic T-Fur.
Yeah. I just assume I'm doing this forever.
Yes. Unless in my upkeep before my T-Fur,
or they
you
counter
remove
it.
my Panoptic Mirror.
Or they counter the Teferi's Protection that you
And
cast.
that is the answer that they have is, once again, my argument, unbanned Paradox, please.
No.
There is so much removal for artifacts and answers for artifacts. You sneeze and an artifact leaves the board these days. There are two cost green creatures that are just sacrifice this creature, destroy target artifact.
Yeah.
Cankerbloom. I think it actually costs 1 and then sacrifice. But either way, so easy to remove artifacts, not a problem.
I think also like the structure of the brackets is that you're not expected to be looping infinite turns until you hit bracket 4?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the big thing as well, is for people doing bracketed play, if they say they're running a bracket 3 and they've got a Panoptic and a Time Warp in there, they're not running a bracket 3, they're lying to you, don't play with them anymore. And if they're saying they're a power level 7 because they don't use brackets, and
that means nothing.
And they say to you, I've got Panoptic and Time Warp, but I'm not going to use it for infinite combos. You can trust them if you want, but I wouldn't.
No.
Like, if I have the option to do it, I'll do it. So that's kind of where we're at with that, where Panoptic was an easy unban, as long as you're having discussions.
Yes.
As long as you're, again, communicating.
Yeah.
And the final point of this is there are not going to be any more unbans this year. We know that for sure.
Or bans.
Or bans this year. So we know state of play is not changing.
Sorry, also correction to that. I think they said unless something like Nadu happens again.
Yeah, we are committing to no further changes to the ban list for the rest of the year. Yeah, the Nadu contingency. That's literally what it calls it. So no Nadus.
No.
Okay. Thank you, Attack on Cardboard, Bandit, Ben Willer, Charlotte Sable, Daquan Watson, Deco, Greg Sablan, Itetu, Josh Lee Kwai, Kristen Gregory, Lewis Stardust, Olivia Gerber Hicks, Rachel Weeks, Rebel Lily, Scott Larrabee, Tim Willoughby, and Toby Elliott. CFP, thank you so much for everything that you've done so far for the game. Thank you to us for giving them the fuel they needed to unban these cards.
So funny,
Clearly, they're all big fans of ours.
Do you want to know something funny? So I opened up my deck list for Orvar the Allform.
Yeah.
And I put it to considering, and I wrote Panoptic Mirror down. I'm thinking about putting that in there.
Do it.
Yeah.
Like, fully do it.
Yeah.
The once I saw
I don't even have spells in there that would be that good for it, but like I want
fun.
I want to rework that deck a bit.
I have changed the Loro already to House Ray of the Stars and Braids Cabal Minion.
Great.
Don't worry about it.
So how often do you play that deck? Once every 6 months?
Once every 3 to 4 months. It was on my own fucking birthday. I didn't even get to play that deck.
Yeah, so now it's going to be once per annum.
Yeah, it's a per annum deck.
It is your birthday only.
In that announcement, there are all the cards they haven't unbanned yet, and they've spoken why. But let's take this last little bit to talk about talking about your decks and talking about playing Magic.
Yeah, I think before we do that, like a very quick note about what this means for this show.
Nothing.
Nothing. Like the question at the heart of every casual compliance episode about a card on the ban list is, can this come off the ban list?
Yep.
This just means that that means something else now. Exactly. Like there's different language we'll use about like if this comes off the ban list, it's a game changer. What does that mean? Could this move past that? Like there's more nuance for us to play with, really.
And it gives us space to make more content as well.
Very true.
Like talking about cards on the game changer list or new cards that come out that we think are game changers or straight bans, Nadus.
Yeah.
Is this the GC or a Nadu?
Yeah, but the bit that's in that update about like the cards that are still on the ban list, and like they added a small paragraph about like why they're still there.
Yeah.
We'll cover those when those cards come up.
Exactly. They've given me more work. Thanks.
Yeah. Two websites to look at now.
Shit. No, I think I'm just going to start tracking them on the spreadsheet of bands. Let's spend this last little bit about talking to our friends.
Yeah.
Okay. Checking on your friends in the first place. Always checking on your friends.
Yeah, you don't have to wait for Are You OK Day to ask your friends how they're doing.
Actually, don't ask them on Are You OK day. Ask them every other day.
Yes.
If you have a play group, and whether you use brackets or not, this is a reminder that this is a social game in a predominantly social format. We don't want to deny, we don't want to, not include CDH, but they are looking for a catered game experience for themselves. That
they're also looking for a social experience. It's just competitive first.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so for us, we do really talk to the more entrenched Magic players, is what we're realizing. People that play a lot of Commander, because we are talking a very niche topic.
It's like, when we both used to play a lot of Destiny, like there's a difference between like your average Destiny player and the people that's reading the patch notes every week. Like it's that's the difference.
We had Twid Day
Yeah.
during COVID where like, oh, it's out.
Yeah.
It's out.
Yeah.
It's this nth degree change.
Yeah, it's like, these abilities and these weapons are getting changed. Like this is kind of the level we operate at, which is like there's people who play Commander and then there's people who pay attention to how the ban list is talked about and game changes and brackets and all that sort of stuff.
And we're such big people that where we want to talk about cultures of games and how games are played and stuff like that. We both have psychology or psychiatry degrees.
Yeah.
So like it's
true.
about that social interaction. And what's really important here is that you're not misrepresenting your deck. You're not misrepresenting the way you're playing deliberately. There was a game I played not long ago where I was told, oh, cool, this person has described my deck as a 3. And then it came out, played the game, and it just rinsed the board. I was like, that didn't play like a 3, man. Like, maybe it's never gone off like that before, and you didn't know it could go off like that. That's fine. That is perfectly fine. Something they mentioned in the game changer thing is it's about intention.
Yes.
Are you intending to play the game like this, or has it actually just happened and you've realized it and now it's a 4?
I guess the answer, like in that scenario, is like, are you now going to go and change the deck so that this doesn't happen again,
or are you going to
adjust how you talk and think about that deck?
Exactly. And that's fine. You can have those conversations. We don't deliberately go out to have a bad game experience. No one is deliberately malicious most of the time.
It's actually better if you assume they're not, generally.
Exactly. Never assume maliciousness where you can either put in ignorance or accident. The accidents happen.
Yeah.
Look at majority of the population of the planet. Most children aren't planned.
Assume positive intent, I think, is the simple way to say that.
Exactly. And so talk to people about the decks. You don't have to use brackets, but and you don't have to use game changers. But we know people that have been playing with Jewel Lotuses and Command and Mana Crypts and stuff in their deck still. There are people that still play with banned cards.
Yeah.
Knowing that and communicating that is important because that helps everyone else assess what kind of experience they want to have.
That's it's a level, it requires a level of like self-awareness about like you and the type of game you're after, what your deck does as well, and giving people a reasonable amount of information with which to choose, do I want to opt into that experience or not? And then respecting their decision. Like just because someone says, actually, I don't feel like I'm in the mood for that kind of game, like that's fine. Find someone else.
If someone leaving the area because of the deck you really want to play is a problem to you, that is unfortunately your problem. It majority of the time probably isn't about you. It's about what they want on the night because it's about their fun too. Yeah. Like, if you want to have fun with your high power decks, awesome, but someone might not want that experience.
Yeah, you just have to go find 3 other people that want that.
Exactly. I've been starting to look for lower powered pods because I just haven't got the bandwidth at the moment to keep up with all the reading, all the high power stuff. So I've been taking that time to go and play lower power stuff and seeking that out. And I've left pods for that. And it's never personal.
Yeah.
It's just, that ain't for me today.
Yeah. And I think part of that comes down to like respecting boundaries that people are trying to establish. Like if someone says, that's not for me, you don't get to tell them why not, or sit down and play the game.
Oh, that's fair. You either get to say, oh, look, let me see what else I have. What do you have with you? Which our friends do say quite a lot, which is really nice. Or they say, cool, I do want to play this one. Maybe someone else is here. Yeah. And like, or I saw one where I was like, oh, we're not playing that game, but I know they are over there and they're looking for another player. Yeah. Or maybe they might have space after their game. Yeah. That kind of stuff.
Yeah. So, and I think part of it too, like a couple of conversations I've seen or been in this week is people treating brackets like these really rigid lines of like, oh, it's a bracket 2, it's a bracket 3. It's like, this is not anything that the CFP have put forward, but I like to think of it as like on paper, my deck is at least bracket 2, bracket 3. Yeah. And then depending on how it plays, how it synergizes, how it ramps, I might bracket up because the outcome is more like a higher bracket. Like my Miriam deck, for example, play a dragon, get a copy of a dragon, right? The way that I have it built is 0 game changes and like 1 tutor. So it's on paper a bracket 2. Yeah. In no world is that a bracket 2. I would put it at a high 3 to a 4.
Slivers has my Slivers deck has no game changes, no mass land denial. It is on paper a bracket 1. Yeah. Doesn't play like a bracket 1. No. And there's the intent side of things.
Yeah. So it's knowing how you're intending to win, what kind of strategies you're trying to employ, and then talking about that before the game starts. Like it's one thing to say, oh, I've got 4 game changes. Which ones they are kind of matters. Yep. And like if you're trying to combo off in certain ways, like if you've got alternate win cons, that stuff's all worth revealing. Yeah. Because if someone said,
intention.
Yeah, if I've got a coalition victory, it's like, I just don't want to, actually.
I'm off.
Yeah, no thank you.
So summative of it all is, I win. Yeah. But mainly, talk to your friends. Talk to your social groups. Check in with people. See if the game was fun as well after.
That's it.
Is there anything you want to change?
The post-game chat, almost as important.
Pillow talk with Chili Ben and Gramps coming to you in 3 months. Special episodes.
Hello? Sir?
He snores.
I do.
If you have any thoughts, feelings, opinions, please comment with the time code so I can remind myself what I said, because the moment I leave this room, I forget everything that I've said at all. And if you've enjoyed the video, please let us know. Please follow us on Blue Sky, Casual Compliance. Follow us on TikTok, Casual Compliance. Follow us on, email us at Gmail, casualcompliance@gmail.com. Put a comment here. Tell your friends about us. If you know a CFP member, make sure they watch our video to let them know how much we love them and how much we appreciate that they watch all our videos and then do stuff for us.
Yeah. Just imagine the CFP group chat. Like, why are we all hearing about these fucking guys?
Tom's like, I did not tell them to say that. Yeah. Thank you specifically to Tom, our local member of Parliament, and by Parliament I mean the CFP. I'm Gramps.
I'm still Chili Ben.
And if you do want to play Commander with us, maybe you should go to Command Fair Sydney.
I'll be there. Gramps won't.
No, I won't. I started a new job and I just can't get the time off.
Also, Western Sydney. It is what it is.
Oh, fuck Sydney. Yeah. Anyway, enjoy Command Fest. Be good to your friends. And don't forget, a coalition victory is just around the corner.